September 1st, 1939, 4:45 a.m., Westerplatte, Poland. The air is cold and still along the Baltic coast. Polish soldiers huddled behind concrete walls, boots soaked with morning dew. Then, without warning, the darkness explodes. The German battleship Schleswig-Holstein opens fire. Shells scream overhead and slam into the garrison. The ground shakes. War has come to Europe again. This is how the Second World War begins, not with a declaration, but with steel, fire, and shock. You are standing at the edge of the most destructive conflict in human history. Across Europe, the world left unfinished after the First World War begins to collapse. The Treaty of Versailles has crippled Germany economically and humiliated it politically. In the streets of Berlin, food lines stretch for blocks. Anger festers. Into that anger steps Adolf Hitler, Führer of Nazi Germany, promising revival, revenge, and empire. At the same time, Benito Mussolini dreams of a new Roman Empire in Italy, while Imperial Japan, ruled by generals and emperors, expands brutally across Asia. These nations form what will become known as the Axis powers. Opposing them stand the Allied powers, Britain, France, and eventually the Soviet Union, the United States, and dozens more. But in 1939, as German panzer divisions roll into Poland under the roar of Stuka dive bombers, the Allies are unprepared for what's coming. May 10, 1940. Dawn, Ardennes Forest, France. French officers believe this forest is impassable to tanks. They are wrong. German armored columns crash through the trees, engines growling, radios crackling with orders. The Blitzkrieg, lightning war, moves faster than any army in history. Within weeks, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France are collapsing. By June, Paris falls. Along the beaches of Dunkirk, nearly 400,000 British and French troops are trapped. Smoke fills the sky. German artillery closes in. Then, from across the English Channel, something extraordinary happens. Civilian boats, fishing trawlers, ferries, private yachts cross into hell to bring the soldiers home. The war does not end, it only spreads. August 13, 1940, 20,000 feet above southern England. Royal Air Force pilot, Flight Lieutenant James Nicholson, grips the controls of his Hawker Hurricane. German Messerschmitts slash through the clouds. Tracers rip past his cockpit. Below, London burns. This is the Battle of Britain, the first major campaign fought entirely in the air. Night after night, German bombers hammer British cities. Civilians shelter underground as sirens wail. Yet Britain does not break. For the first time, Hitler is stopped. June 22, 1941, 3:15 a.m. Eastern Front. 3 million German soldiers surge eastward in Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history. Tanks, artillery, infantry stretching hundreds of miles. Hitler has turned on his former ally, Joseph Stalin. The fighting is savage. Villages burn. Prisoners are executed. Civilians starve. And behind the lines, a crime unfolds that defies comprehension. In forests and camps across Europe, millions of Jews, Roma, disabled people, and political prisoners are systematically murdered in the Holocaust. Names like Auschwitz, Treblinka, and Sobibor become symbols of industrialized death. The war is no longer just about territory, it is about survival. December 7, 1941, 7:48 a.m., Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. American sailors look up to see aircraft marked with red rising suns diving out of the sky,
Torpedoes strike battleships at anchor. Flames engulf the USS Arizona. This is no drill. Japan's surprise attack pulls the United States fully into the war. Overnight, the conflict becomes truly global, spanning Europe, North Africa, the Atlantic, and the vast Pacific. From Midway to Guadalcanal, from El Alamein to Stalingrad, the world bleeds. June 6, 1944, 6:30 a.m., Omaha Beach, Normandy, France. The ramps drop. American soldiers, many barely 20 years old, run straight into machine gun fire. The sea turns red. Officers shout orders that can't be heard over explosions. This is D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion ever attempted. Against impossible odds, the Allies break through Hitler's Atlantic Wall. France will be liberated. Germany will be pushed back street by street, mile by mile. April 30th, 1945, Berlin. The city is rubble. Soviet artillery pounds the ruins. In an underground bunker, Adolf Hitler takes his own life. Nazi Germany surrenders days later. But the war is not over. August 5th, 1945, 8:15 a.m., Hiroshima, Japan. A single American bomber releases one bomb. A blinding flash, a shock-wave, a city erased. 3 days later, Nagasaki follows. Japan surrenders. The Second World War ends. More than 60 million people are dead, soldiers and civilians alike. Cities lie in ashes. Borders are redrawn. The United Nations is formed in hopes that this will never happen again. Yet as the world exhales, a new tension settles in. The Cold War. The Second World War is over, but its shadow will shape everything that comes after.